I'm gonna take you on a journey that I personally find very interesting. When Resident Evil 4 released, it changed the gaming landscape forever. It was so revolutionary that it's still being copied to this day, almost 20 years later. A lot of people still see it as one of the best video games of all time, and for good reason. The gunplay, progression, boss fights, everything still feels great, and most importantly, it is fun as hell. But as a zombie fan, which is me, it did come with some drawbacks. Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3 were full-on zombie games. Sure, you had some wacky creatures here and there, but most of the time you were fighting against rotting corpses that couldn't really fight back. RE4 still had quote-unquote zombies, but they were more monster-like creatures that turned into weird walking spaghetti weirdos if you shot them. I mean, RE5 even had enemies shooting back at you with assault rifles. If you call this a zombie, you might as well call the Teletubbies the same thing. Now, I really like zombie games if you haven't picked up on that yet, and while I liked playing RE4 and RE5, nothing will be able to beat chopping zombies into little bits. For some reason, my monkey as a brain loves to do this. Just messing with zombies is fun. Even in Dead Island, I think this game kinda sucks, but it's still kinda funny to just kick them onto the ground. Resident Evil 4 was released on the 11th of January in 2005, a day after my 5th birthday, by the way, and it sold pretty well, I would say. But Capcom still saw that there was a market for zombie games aimed towards a Western audience, which brings us to Dead Rising. You can do this in Dead Rising. Like, come on, this is awesome. The goal of Dead Rising was to make something that contrasted Resident Evil 4. This game is a lot of fun, okay? Don't get me wrong, but it's gloomy, dark, muddy, and just kinda depressing to look at. This game has you shooting weirdos and judo kicking them on the ground to avoid taking damage. Dead Rising has you running with an open umbrella through a sea of zombies. Instead of being set in a post-apocalyptic world where factions fight each other, it is set in a modern shopping mall with a roller coaster for some reason. This game does some of the goofiest, the dumbest garbage imaginable, and I love it. This also makes it stick out between all the zombie games. There are a lot of zombie games, alright, Jesus Christ, but Dead Rising light-hearted tone and bright colors really makes it pop. Sure, nowadays there are a lot of games that have goofy, wacky zombie worlds, but Dead Rising was one of the first ones to do this. Now, I actually got a confession to make, alright? I never actually played this game as a kid. Yeah, I know. I did play the demo a lot, but I just straight up jumped into DR2 instead. I never really gave this game a try. Not right now, okay? You'll get your spotlight eventually. So a few months ago, I just decided to give it a whirl, and I adored it. This is such an underappreciated game. It isn't flawless, but it is fun. It is hella fun. Like I said, Dead Rising is set in a modern shopping mall that is filled to the brim with zombies. I think the max amount of zombies that can be on screen is about 800 of them, which nowadays really isn't spectacular, but this game is almost 15 years old. It came out on the Xbox 360. You play as a hot-headed photojournalist named Frank West. He's the guy that says, "I've covered wars, you know." And your goal is to uncover the story of what made the zombie outbreak occur in the town of Willamette while trying to save the remaining survivors from the dead. You have about 3 in-game days to do this, which is about 6 hours. The whole game is built around a time limit. If you fail to do a scoop, it is gone for good. Every single mission starts and ends at a specific time point in the game, so your goal is to plan it all out. It really isn't something you're gonna do all in one go. You have to play it multiple times to experience everything. This is the real meat of Dead Rising, doing these missions, the scoops, and there are 3 types of them: case files, survivors, and psychopaths. I guess you also have mutiny missions, but like, it's just go to safe house and talk to guy. Like, that's it. I don't really call that a mission. The case files are the main story. If you manage to fill one of these, it is basically just a game over. Survivor missions, on the other hand, are a side activity where you need to help stranded survivors make it back to the safe room in one piece. Now, here is probably the biggest problem with Dead Rising. The AI is the worst shit I've ever seen in a video game. It sucks. Poo-poo farts. Straight up. They keep running into walls, getting grabbed by zombies. They push each other around like little bubble heads. It's seriously frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. It's funny though, I'll give it that. If you hang out in the safe room for a couple of minutes, you hear this.
Not a judge. Damn it. Jerk. Not in a million years.
Okay.
Shit. No. Not in a million years.
This is how you get a migraine. The survivors in this game are completely brain dead and helpless. You literally have to babysit them and protect them from the zombies, and most importantly, geometry. Ooh, spooky. In some way, it kinda adds to the whole experience though. Once you load in an area, you can't just run towards the exit and wait until the survivors arrive. You have to slowly carve your way through the zombies bit by bit until you're at the end. In some way, it has an old school Resident Evil vibe to it, where your goal isn't to kill everything in sight, but slowly maneuver your way through all the zombies. It's a system that's very flawed, I admit that, but it's also kind of fun at the same time, I'm not gonna lie. The second form of side missions are the psychopaths, who are basically survivors that went insane during the outbreak, and they act as little mini-bosses. Instead of having an evil generic guy that did an evil thing, or a super mutated zombie that is stronger because the game tells you it is, you have actual characters with motives and problems they are trying to cope with. You have a distrustful gun shop owner, an extremely jealous photographer, a paranoid teenager, and even a Silksong fan. Whoa! Some of these fights are complete dick though. Adam and Cletus are the ones that really take the cake. They just stomp you into the ground, and this game does not have a nice save system. The only way you can save your game is by taking a piss. That's not a joke. Every time you want to save, you have to go to a bathroom and take a piss. If you forget to do this, well, sucks to suck. We do everything. If you manage to defeat one of these bosses though, you are usually rewarded with a very spicy weapon or more survivors you need to escort. I didn't mention this before, but the reason why you want to escort these survivors is because you get a big chunk of prestige points from them, which is basically XP, not penis points, okay? Come on. You start as a weak, slow, level 1 average Joe, but if you manage to do a handful of scoops, you end up as this untouchable beast. You become faster, more durable, stronger, and you also get to unlock all these goofy little wrestling moves, which are a blast to toy with. Which finally brings me to the sandbox. If the missions are the meat of Dead Rising, the sandbox elements are the potatoes. I feel like the best open world games are the ones that make you experiment and play around with specific weapons and mechanics. Look at Breath of the Wild or Minecraft, for example. Now, Dead Rising doesn't really have a lot of things that interact with each other, but what it does have is zombies. A lot of goddamn zombies. And this game is set in a shopping mall for a reason. A mall has dozens of shops and cafeterias that have stuff in them. I know, it's crazy. The main gimmick of Dead Rising is that you can go in any shop you want and just pick up random garbage and use it as a weapon. Throw lead pipes, use a lawnmower, a guitar, flower pot. How about throwing a bunch of orange juice jugs or smack them on the head with a bowling ball? Throw CDs or fences, heat up a frying pan and sizzle some faces, shoot hockey pucks, spill cooking oil on the ground, and let's not forget this! This is the best one. Messing with zombies in this game is just goofy, wacky fun, but the game never makes it the main appeal. Your goal is still save survivors and uncover the story of what made the zombie outbreak occur. I'm telling you man, that time limit, as annoying as it can be at times, it makes this game such a replayable gem. It never dwells too long onto one specific gameplay loop, and I absolutely adore it. But if you want to ignore everything that I said and just cosplay as bald Mega Man, you can also do that. Fun game. Merry Christmas!
Hmm.